What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, America? Yes, sir. We are here. It is the Brooklyn Beards and Balls show. We about to get it in. It's my boy Big D in the building. It's Don
Yes,
and
sir.
Rod. Yes, sir. We are here. Listen, live and direct. I got to get y'all to do something for us before we get into the week 14 and all this great football that we saw yesterday. I think a team out in the West Coast did a little something. I think we saw a Purdy cat. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh, yeah.
listen.
Okay.
Yeah. But listen, if you want to hear even more about that and all this good stuff that's popping on this show, I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, and I need you to share. Okay, listen, comment right here in the show, in the chat. This show is popping, all right? And we appreciate your support. We appreciate everybody out there that's been following and commenting. But again, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe, put the notifications for all right? So every time you hear me whip on D with all these great takes we do, you get to see it and you'll be notified right on the rip. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
Big D,
right.
what you ready to do? You ready to get
Oh
it
man, it's listen. You kind of alluded to. We saw a display of greatness yesterday. The 49ers.
Greatness.
Yeah. Actually, yes. We shut down the goat, but we'll get into it. We'll delve deeply into
Deeply.
how great that team looked with the third string quarterback, Mister Relevant. But you know what? Let's get into it.
Let's go.
As it's been stated, Week 14 is coming to a close. We are recapping the great games that we have seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no greater. Obviously, we know God is the greatest. But on this terra firma, we're going to talk about a great team, San Francisco 49ers. And
Okay.
let's start with that. Amazing.
Let's do it.
Amazing.
Let's do it.
49ers played Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they were talking, and prior to the game, it was all about the GOAT, Tom Brady. You know, the great Tom Brady against pick number 262,
Right.
Mr. Irrelevant, right?
Welcome back.
And he was coming back to the Bay and his hometown, and he idolized Joe Montana, and he wanted to, 2 times he asked since he left the Patriots, can he be part of such a great franchise, such a great storied franchise? 2 times he was told, no, we do not. 2 times. We don't want you. We don't want you. We don't need you.
Yeah.
And it was reported, there was questions that Tom Brady was like, you're going to keep me for, you don't want me for that guy. And at that time, we don't know if it was Jimmy G. We don't know if it was, potentially Trey Lance or any other quarterback. But Tom Brady felt some type of way because Kyle Shanahan said, we don't need you. We're okay without you. We can do what we need to do with the personnel we have. And most teams understand that. Somebody with Tom Brady's accomplished career, when he comes to your organization, just like other great quarterbacks that's not their initial team, you have to kind of work within their abilities and their offense. So it wouldn't be a Kyle Shanahan offense anymore. It would be a Tom Brady offense, what he has been so successful doing. And some teams are okay with that. Some teams are okay giving the keys of their franchise, their offensive scope and ideals to a quarterback that's so accomplished. And let's face it, he is, the most accomplished quarterback in NFL history. But that being said, we said, no, thank you. We don't need it. And play Tampa Bay. We were a 4-point favorite, 3.5-point favorite. And it was a complete and utter domination from beginning to end. I mean, the defense was on fire. Initially, Tom Brady had a few, a little drive here and there, but it didn't amount to anything. They didn't score until the third quarter. And even that touchdown was a fluky. It hit about 6 or 7 players and then dropped into Gage's hand in the end zone. So really, we were on course to really shut them down. And so Brock Purdy, and let's respect him. Brock Purdy, he wasn't managing the game. he was very much actively driving the offense, which is a big difference. Nobody really expected him to do that. Lastly, before I pass it to you, Tom Brady had 100 family members there. 100 family clip. He had, I don't know if they were from New York, but he had 100 people there to watch that L. Brock Purdy had his family there. I think 5 or 6 people, they wanted to see him with his first start. Tom Brady had never lost to a rookie before, let alone number 262, Mr. Irrelevant. He's a 1 of 1. He beat Tom Brady, the potential, arguably the GOAT of quarterbacks. It was beautiful. What do you say?
Yeah, well, listen, I have not a whole lot to say. I can't take anything away from what the 49ers did yesterday. Listen, utter dominance from start to finish. Purdy looked really, really good. Looked really, really comfortable. Didn't look like the last pick of anybody's draft, for that matter. And I just thought the game plan was just splendid. It was really, really well coached. It was a game where the offense looked very, very fluid. Again, utilizing all the weapons. I think the big thing, if you are a 49ers fan such as yourself, okay, and I don't know if you're overly concerned, but you should be to some degree because you still got some games to win, particularly this Thursday, a big one with the Seahawks, is that you don't have your boy Debo. And so I think with this win you've got, there's also a sacrifice that came with it. But look, we understand how bad the Buccaneers are. I mean, they're just putrid. They're rancid. They're inept on offense. They have no ability to score at all. And Brady, I think, threw the ball 55 times. I mean, it was just nasty. They can't run the ball. They can't do much of anything. Their defense, for the most part, is not technically bad, but I mean, when you have an offense that just can't score, I mean, at some point, what are you going to do, right? A la Denver Broncos. So I think when you look at this team, the 49ers, and I will go on record to say, because, it takes nothing away from me, we've got 5 Super Bowl rings and we are still the world dominant team as we always are. And we, pretty much do what we do because we're the Dallas Cowboys. But the 49ers, I would say, are the best team right now in the NFC. I think you are above the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, because of the defense. The defense is number 1. Points allowed. You guys only average 75, give up 75 yards rushing on the ground, which I think is very superb. You don't give up much. I think it's just over 200 in the air, if that much. Even I think it's 190 something, or it might even be less than that. I have to look at the stats again, but
it's low. It's low. Whatever number, it's low.
Whatever it is, it's low. That's why we do the show every week, because some weeks we're smiling and other weeks we're looking sad. So we'll see. Right now you're smiling, you're grinning, your beard looks good.
It's been about 6 weeks. I've been smiling for about 6 weeks.
Well, it's about who's going to be smiling in February when it's all said and done. That's the real thing. So, but it's okay. Listen, you always got good teeth anyway, so I don't mind seeing it. You got good teeth. America loves your teeth. Appreciate it. Doesn't America love Donald's teeth? If you love these teeth,
man. No, listen, don't open that up to like all kind of comments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let me pull back on that. But
if I get some kind of Invisalign deal or some type of, hey, listen, we're open to it. Brooklyn Beards and Ball, we'll accept that. No problem. You somebody watch and say, hey, it's okay, but we can improve upon. There's always room for improving upon.
Come on.
And I'll say this: Adam Schefter commented that Deebo Samuel suffered a sprained MCL and ankle, but is expected to return during the regular season, which is very important. So I think from a standpoint, just like anything else, there must be, for greatness, there is a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Ask Kanye. Now, I shouldn't have even went there. That was unnecessary. But there are sacrifices that must be made. Eggs must be broken to make an omelet, right?
There you go.
So
right.
I will say this. I don't think Kyle Shanahan, as much as I know Jerry Rice came out and said, stop using our skilled players running the ball up the middle. And to a large degree, I agree with that. But at the same time, he may be able to do that up until the playoffs or as we get into the playoffs. But while we're in the playoffs and we're pushing and making that push for the Super Bowl, hey, listen, anything and everything that needs to be done. Better to heal with a Super Bowl ring, right? Yep. And rehab with a Super Bowl ring than you have bullets in the chamber that you don't fire. So I think I understand what he's saying, but it's a different time than when Jerry Rice was playing, obviously, because there are positions that players play that are they aren't just a. It's hard to say that Jerry Rice, arguably the greatest receiver ever, was a one-dimensional player as far as just his skill set. But Debo he could arguably be a great running back, and he could be a really he's a great receiver. So
Absolutely.
the fact that he's able to do both very, very well at a high level. I mean, look at his numbers last year. It was just off the charts. I think given the opportunity, he should be obviously more working in the role of a wide receiver. But if we need that spark to put us over the top, to push us, to the Super Bowl and beyond, to win it, and have the confetti and have all of that and everybody swimming around in the confetti on the field, then that's just what it'll have to be. So that's what I think about that. What do you say? Well,
No,
you guys don't really have to worry about that, right? Because Dak threw 2 interceptions. We're about to get to that because the Texans, you go down the wire with the Texans.
Okay. Let me hold on. Let me.
Let's transition to the Cowboys. We've already talked about greatness.
We talked about your whiners already. Okay, yeah. You beat the 6 and 7 Bucks. Okay,
and I just want to get you on the record. Their division, they're winning their division, right? Although they're terrible in comparison to both of our teams, they're still going to host the game. Can you say that you're going to host the game in the playoffs?
We don't
raise
know
a hand. Come on. Come on.
Today we wouldn't, but there's more games to play.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if your team is winning their division.
If the season ends today, then you can raise your hand. But we can't say that, right? Because we still got more games left.
I guarantee you. I'm not Denzel, but I will guarantee. Okay, that you guys, I guarantee you that you guys, if you played the Niners and threw 2 interceptions, that's a wrap. If you played the Eagles and had 2 interceptions, that was a wrap. If you played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and threw 2 interceptions, Tom Brady would chew you guys up even then.
Not at all.
So the way you guys,
not at all.
The way you guys are lackadaisically coming into the stretch run, even if you beat the Eagles on Christmas Eve, I don't think you guys are who's to say you're going to beat Jacksonville? You assume that the 3 games were just, hey, we're going to take those 3 games. But how do you struggle with the Texans?
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. See, but this is the misnomer right here. And this is what everybody goes through when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, right? But did we see not the Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Colts? Did the Colts not take the Philadelphia Eagles down to virtually the last play of the game? And they also struggled with the Texans. But you and I witnessed with our own eyes the 400 points that we put up against the Colts last week in the second quarter. Listen, it happens. You know what I mean? Now, should Dallas have struggled the way they did? This was more about Dallas not playing good against a bad team. I said to my brother yesterday, how I was watching the game, but I said, look, for us to win this game, Houston has to at some point go back to who they are and be the 1-10-1 team that they are. But listen, it happens. Nobody says anything when other great teams struggle. Again, as I said, Kansas City lost to the Colts. The Eagles struggled with the Colts as well.
They didn't lose, though.
They didn't lose, but they struggled with them.
But that's the team you're trying to catch up with. You're trying to catch up with the Eagles.
But the point I'm trying to make is that everybody has a game or 2 in the season
where we lost to the Broncos.
They're going to look. Well, exactly. So
I'm gonna be transparent.
So why are you coming down on how the bad Dallas?
But we haven't looked back
to a team that's
we haven't looked back. We haven't looked back.
Well, look, but it doesn't matter.
It's a seesaw. Like this is the trajectory of our team. We're on the upswing. Dallas is 40 points to 3 down. Now you're struggling. Now back up.
What struggle? How? Okay, we don't start out games like we should with that level of dominance. We beat the Colts by 9,000. Okay, we ended up putting the Giants in their place in the second half of Thanksgiving. Okay, listen.
How much did you beat the Giants by? I think it was 8 points. The Eagles beat them by 25
No, that was garbage points at the end. Just like the garbage TD the Buccaneers scored. That was a garbage TD the Giants had.
Well, the garbage point. It could be argued that there was garbage points. Listen,
no,
right?
No,
listen,
no.
If you guys play like that, with some of the teams that you're going to face in the playoffs,
I don't
you're
disagree
going
with
to
you.
go home.
I don't disagree with you. But what I'm saying is that, again, Dallas, we know where we've got to be able to tighten things up, particularly Dak. I'll be honest, Dak hasn't. Our offense has been number one in scoring since he's returned. Number one offense in the league since he's been back. Okay, putting up points, but the interceptions are a problem. He's got more interceptions now than he did all of last season. He's played less games this year. So I totally agree. I don't disagree that Dak definitely has to up the game. I think he can't see certain things in the quarter zone and then also in the cover two. They confuse Dak a lot, and I don't know what he's been seeing lately in the middle of the field.
6 years in the league. He
Yeah,
had 6 years in the league, right?
Look, I never said Dak is Roger Staubach or Troy Aikman, but
But
Dak,
yet you don't want to you don't want to say Purdy's name right. You want to say Purdue.
Now you got Purdue, or I thought I saw a Purdy cat. When Purdy can get further into the playoffs, look, we got to see more. All right, we got to see more. And okay, so I mean, we're not crying. He's not Steve Young or the second coming of Joe Montana. He's not even Steve Bono. He's not even Eric. What's his name? Guard. What's his name? I can't remember the other quarterback y'all high. Elvis Gerback. Look, none of those guys. He looked really good. He's in a good system, and he has a plethora of weapons around him. The 49ers, I only say, y'all, and I'll say this and we'll pass it on. The only reason why I say that the 49ers look like the best team in the NFC right now is because still, for all intents and purposes, the Eagles are unproven. We don't know who they are when the playoffs come. We could say the 49ers, they got some resume. There's a history there. You guys went to the Super Bowl in recent years. You went to an NFC Championship last year. You guys used to go deep in the playoffs. You've all but always snatched the dreams and goals from Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay for all intents and purposes. So we don't know what this Eagle team is going to look like when the real lights come on. So that's the reason why, by default, I would say the 49ers are right now the best team. But again, talking right now, we still got a lot of football left. Okay,
we do.
So don't get so excited.
And Christmas Eve, we're going to see, right? Based off of your take.
And they're playing Dak on Christmas Eve at that.
That's what I'm saying. So we're going to see. The lights are going to be on. The lights are going to be on. Dak owns the Eagles, but I don't know if he owns this version of the Eagles because if he, I will say this and I will say it again. If he turns the ball over, God forbid if it's one time, if it winds up being multiple turnovers at Dak's hand, you guys will not beat the Eagles. You will not beat the Eagles. And the problem is with the Eagles is this. The defense is good. The run game is good. Dak is shaky, and you really, truly don't have a number one. I've been saying this for weeks now.
I agree with that.
CeeDee Lamb is not a number one.
CeeDee has been playing well, but he's not a number one because he just
five catches for 33 yards is a number one.
I mean, look. Now listen. I agree, but Houston made it their business to take CeeDee out of the game. We couldn't even get the targets there. They rolled coverage on him. So if that must mean something, right? He must be number one if they're rolling coverage his way.
If Dameon Pierce did not hurt himself, he would still be running on Dallas. Dameon Pierce he had some good runs, and you actually had a problem with the Texans. They didn't have Nico Collins. They were missing major pieces.
But that's true. And again, like I said, I do agree that Dallas struggled, I feel, unnecessarily. Okay, that game should not have been as close as it was, and we didn't look good, I will admit. But it happens, right? See, for everybody else, it's that's how you gut it out. Those tough wins make you, they prepare you for what's to come. But as soon as that, it only goes to show what people's expectations are in Dallas, because we are a really, really good team. You expect us to beat the Texans by 500, which I did expect too. But you know what? It didn't happen. But I guarantee I hope that we will look better than what we look like this week and in the first half of the Colts and Giant game. So we'll see.
We'll see. And this is what lets you know that Dallas knows that they don't have a real number one. Somebody blew the dust off of T.Y. Hilton. That's your answer? T.Y. Hilton?
No, you know what it is? I think why? Because James Washington just got back yesterday, right? I don't think he's really yet in that groove. So he's going to be T.Y. could possibly. He's the third receiver on the team for all intents and purposes, right? Or even fourth, because you still got Noah Brown there, and we love to throw to our tight end. So really what it is, it's just a plethora of guys that we're going to just hit. T.Y., listen, he can run routes. He can find spots in the zone. He's a really good route runner.
I think you can run routes. I mean, what does that mean?
Amari Cooper. No, running a route is great. Listen, everybody doesn't do 500 motion double, triple reverses like you. You guys only have receivers. You got running backs. Everybody's a running back in San Francisco. No one catches the ball. You guys don't have no number one if you really think about it. You just got a bunch of guys that run reverses and all kind of.
I will take our skill players over Dallas's skill players any day, and so would you.
I would too, but we definitely still have enough to win. Okay, that's why you.
Oh yeah, you do. But when you are starting to pull people out of the woodwork to try to add, I mean, I guess the Odell Beckham. I guess Odell Beckham is up in smoke. If you're taking T.Y. Hilton,
it is.
Yeah, it's up in smoke.
Odell don't want to play this year. Odell trying to get paid without playing. No, that ain't happening. I need to see some push-ups. Run a route. Run a fade. Run a cross. I need to see something. I mean, I don't want to see you, ride on a treadmill. What is it? Walking on a treadmill? What does that do? So no, but the TY is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad. I mean, it's another name. It's another name. It's another jersey sale. That's what it bought. It's a jersey sale. Hilton on a jersey, it will sell, and that's all Jerry Jones cares about. He cares about two things:
no one is buying a T.Y. Hilton jersey
and towing the line. Those are the things that Jerry Jones are really strong about. If he can make money off of you, you sure look good with that star. I don't care what you add to the team. You sure look good with that star on you. And he wants people towing the line. That's all he cares about.
I will agree with that. Unfortunately,
okay. So listen, time will tell. Time will tell. T.Y. Hilton will have at least he will have more than a week to get acclimated. So we should see a splash on Christmas Eve, right? We should see something, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. That's why they signed him. He might be here. He's got to be ready to plug and play at some point. So
there you go.
I would say about 2 weeks. So Christmas Eve.
You'll see him
what's up. Make a critical third down play and keep the chains moving.
T.Y.
Oh yeah,
Hilton.
You'll
Come
see.
on, man.
Listen. Was Hilton not a number one in Indianapolis?
With Andrew Luck. And how long has Andrew Luck been out of the league?
What did he retire about 4 years ago? I guess it was somewhere roughly.
Remember that press conference sounded like he poured a whole bunch of marbles in his mouth and was talking. Yeah, he's been out of the league.
Look, he's not the second coming of Michael Irvin or Drew Pearson. We're not expecting him to be that. He's another body, another little piece to come in and give some
So
spark.
you think?
That's all.
I don't want to use the terminology, but is he a jag? Just another guy?
I would say just another guy.
Oh God.
He's a jag with 2 G's.
Help us today.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go to another game. Let's talk about the team that we dismantled last week, and then they further got dismantled this week. Let me tell you what I did here. Mm-hmm. I saw that all flights from Miami to the West Coast have been canceled until further notice. Miami Dolphins, listen, do yourselves a favor. Mm-hmm. Don't come to the West Coast. They stayed there. They came, played the Niners. They got destroyed. Yeah. Then they stayed. They wanted some palm trees. They wanted to just kind of stay on the West Coast and enjoy, get acclimated. They didn't want to have no jet lag. They wanted to be fully. We on the West Coast. We're in LA. We're gonna prepare for the Chargers. I don't think, and this is the crazy part. They're going to Orchard Park on Saturday. Yeah. So you're going from balmy weather, balmy 75 degrees in LA. San Francisco, actually, that game was really nice. It was sunny in the 60s, right? Yeah. Then they go to LA, it's probably 72. Tua is probably walking around feeling good. They lose.
Actually, from what I understand, that game it was in the 50s. Actually, it was pretty cold in LA. But here's the troubling part for the Dolphins. Do you know, D, that they actually had seat warmers?
Yes, I heard about that. Yes.
In LA at 55, 60 degrees, give or take. Let's just say it was even 55, 60, 65. It doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't have no heat warmers.
You're running around. And if you're not, they put those big parkers on you. It shouldn't be bothered.
Listen, they're going to summons in the sun. They're going to be like Joshua and call the sun down come when they get to Buffalo. because they're going to need it for that level of cold. So if they have
it's supposed to be,
for this,
it's supposed to be snow. It's supposed to be snow on Saturday, or I think it's coming in before the game. But the game's Saturday, and if you can't handle 55 degrees, good night. Listen, right. I don't know what you're gonna do going to Orchard Park, and that's the problem. Where even Tyreek, who is once again he's a force all by himself. Jalen Waddle comes and goes, but Tyreek is the pretty much.
Well, Waddle is hurt. He's been hurt though. He's been a little shaky. But you're right. He's definitely not.
Tyreek gets his Waddle is having a great season. Tyreek gets his no matter what. Fluke plays, ball just sitting there. He takes it, goes 50 yards. Right. Someone falls down, he catches it, 60-yard touchdown. So he's gonna get his. Right. But I think I'll have to say this: there's no future in their fronting. They are fronting. Because when they have to play the teams in cold weather, if they have to go somewhere other than beautiful Miami, they're going to have a problem. I can't see them winning in Orchard Park. I can't see them going to Kansas City and winning in January. I don't see it happening. I think Tua. There was one play where Tua got sacked and his hand almost went up to his head. I said, Tua, if you put your hand up by your ears, they're going to pull you out of the game. So if you want to stay in, drop your hands. Drop your hands. Because one guy took him and kind of slung him, and he was about to, I don't know if he was adjusting his helmet, he was about to put his hands up, but he stayed in the game. They still caught the L. I think Miami they're going to be in some trouble.
Miami, I would say this about Miami, and it's already been stated. They're going to go only as far as Tua. Tua has not played well at all the last two games. He missed a lot of open guys in the game against San Francisco. He missed guys last night. I mean, the ball
we had something to do with it,
but yeah. Well, but in all fairness, there was some throws that Tua was not under pressure, and guys were wide open, and he clearly the ball just sailed on those guys. I mean, in the San Francisco game. You know what I mean? So listen, he did not play well in that game. I mean, it's when you look at the mechanics, you look at the ball placement, it was bad. And it had nothing, and I'm going to have to be honest with you, it had nothing to do with the defense on those plays. I mean, the defense overall, obviously, but on those plays where he missed guys, he was not under pressure, wasn't under duress, ball never got tipped or his hand got hit or nothing of that nature. Tua, something is going on. He's not looking like the guy who he was in the first 11, 12 games of the season. He is looking, and the numbers have, a huge precipitous. The level of play, that is the contrast of what he was the first 12 weeks versus these last 2 weeks or even 3 weeks, it has really looked bad for Tua last night because the Dolphins defense is actually playing pretty good. They played pretty good yesterday, despite the numbers that Herbert put up. But at the end of the day, the offense just couldn't get nothing going. And it's amazing because you've got these weapons and you still can't seem to move the ball and put up points like they were doing. So I don't know if McDaniel's offense is getting figured out. Something's happening. But it's not looking good. Tua's got to get the ball in guys' hands. Man.
I think Tua has Game of Thrones syndrome. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. It's over. It's over. When it gets cold, Tua can ball out in the summer. He can ball out in Indian summer. It's still kind of 70s most places. You're indoors, but can he survive in the AFC East? I mean, let's think about it. You got Miami, and everywhere else is cold, potentially cold.
Yeah.
Oh, winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Farewell, my summer love.
Right, it's over.
Yeah, they're gonna be waving goodbye to Tua, and that's it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Yeah, maybe a quarterback will be.
Maybe he will shock us in the winter, like he shocked us in the beginning of the year, right? Because we all have to be honest, we all wrote him off. We didn't think he was going to be the future, so we'll see what happens. He betted on himself this year in the sense where he knew if he didn't play well this year, the Dolphins were going to end up moving off from him. So maybe he'll shock us. You know what I mean? I tell you what, if they win in Buffalo,
that would be big.
These past 2 weeks almost wouldn't matter. It would be big. Plus, that's a divisional win for them too.
That would be big.
Two out of division wins, losses they had these past 2 weeks, so it shouldn't hurt them too bad. Yeah.
That would be big. Yeah, because actually they still have a better record than Buffalo. Buffalo's record within the division is not as good, so
That's true.
we'll see what happens. That would be if Tua can suck it up and win in Orchard Park with snow and cold, then I would say, you know what?
Yeah.
I got to reconsider what I think Tua can do. But if he's every time you got every time out and every play that they're on the sideline, he's wrapped up as like a mummy.
Not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, man.
I agree.
It's not gonna work. But real quick, let's talk about Brittney Griner.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this week, Brittney Griner was released from a Russian prison based on. Okay, so 10 months ago, Brittney she plays for the WNBA. Brittney plays overseas to I would say supplement her income because WNBA players don't make a ton of money in comparison to NBA players, but they don't bring the revenue, so that's understandable. So a lot of players in the off season play overseas. Well, Brittney was at the airport. I guess they did a baggage check. She had a vape pen of hashish oil in, which is illegal. Let's be clear on that.
Right.
Whether they targeted her, it was a conspiracy to jam her up. If you have hashish oil and it's illegal, it's illegal. Okay. So in any case, at that point, I think it was advantage Putin, right? Because he has now this public figure, a U.S. public figure, WNBA star that is right where he wants her. She violated. She went to trial. She said she didn't have an understanding of it. She forgot it in her luggage, whatever the case may be. She was convicted, and I think she got a 9-year prison sentence. Well, recently, is that correct so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And then Biden, with a push, once again, the NBA, WNBA, man, they can market some stuff, can't they? There was Brittney Griner T-shirts. There was pins. There was headbands. There was, Brittney Griner sneakers. Everything, they were marketing that. Parts of the court. We are BG. And we're not talking about Cash Money. We're talking about Brittney Griner. We're not talking about, BG from Cash Money Millionaires. We're BG. We had all that going.
Right.
So we have 2 other Americans that have been detained by Russia for longer periods of time. One for a very similar offense. One that was a former Marine that was accused of espionage, spying.
That's correct.
One is serving 4 years. He served 4 years of a 16-year sentence. The other one, I'm not sure what his terms are. They were able to negotiate and bring Brittney Griner home 3 days ago. So she's back in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. They're debriefing her because she was away for 10 months.
Right.
And there's still 2 soldiers, 2 Americans that are there. My question to you was, who should the United States and this administration had prioritized to bring home first? A soldier or a shooter? What do you say?
Well, I say this. I mean, I think you can look at this from 2 lenses. I think if you're going to just look at this from, and I know this is not a popular take to see this from, but from just a humanistic perspective, right? You have an opportunity, and from what we've been told, right? Because there's conflicting reports from the State Department, there's conflicting reports from Russian officials in regards to the details of the negotiation. But from what we understand, it was an all or nothing deal. So Russia was like, look, you give us Victor, and if you don't give us Victor, okay, you can take Brittney, but that's it. We're not giving you Paul, and if you don't take Brittney, then that's it. You get nobody. So the Biden administration at this point is in a situation where if you have an opportunity to bring someone home, right, an American at this point, you have to do that, right? To just leave them there and sit there and not bring anybody home when there was at least at the minimum an offer on the table to bring an American citizen home, right? I mean, Brittney Griner is an American citizen. No, she was not a former serviceman or woman, but she is an American citizen. And so you have an opportunity to do that, right? So I feel in that regard, okay? And look, we all can sit here and we can politicize, we can pontificate, and we can go over all of the different scenarios and how we see it. But if it's your family or my family and we have a chance for a loved one to come home, then by all means, listen, we could care less, right? And I don't care if it's your favorite president or of a particular party that you side with or not that was able to negotiate a deal to bring your loved one home. You could care less. Your loved one is home. So I think from a humanitarian perspective, that's the thing. But then you do have the political aspect. You do have the aspect of this thing where, of course, Brittney Griner, a lot of attention, a lot of, she clearly was, as you just stated, in the eyes, all over media, getting a lot of attention. And of course, the take is that there's a voting capacity that's involved here, for the Democrats and left wing and the Biden administration. And so doing that, because look, he's a sitting duck. I mean, he's gonna
he's a lame duck.
He's a lame duck president.
I hope he doesn't run again. But
yeah, I don't think he will, and I don't think they would have him do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, right? But so that's the political piece there. He did bring home an American serviceman earlier this year. Okay, earlier this year, back in April, he did bring an American soldier home from Russia. He was able to pull off that deal, right? Now he brings home Brittney Griner. Now the families for both. Not only Paul Whelan, who is in there for espionage, but the teacher that's in there as well. And that individual by the name of Mark Fogel, okay, who's over there, who actually got caught with more medical marijuana than what Brittney had, okay? A lot more, okay? So based on the comparison or the egregiousness, if there's such a word, of both their crimes, this guy actually had more, right? And so, but Brittney is home. Brittney is there. I'm a bit conflicted a little bit because I understand where they're coming from. Even President Trump came out the other day and said, the former President Trump said, I wouldn't have brought home Paul Whelan. In fact, a deal had already was on the table at one point during his presidency for the Victor the Boot guy, and he said no. He said he's not bringing it home because of what this guy did, Victor Boot. It's way too egregious of what
Merchant
he did.
of Death. Yeah,
the Merchant of Death. That's the nickname. Thank you. And so basically, he wasn't going to do that. So that's the situation that we have there, right? I mean, it's a matter of what are you going to do? Because Americans have a tendency, at least the overall perspective is, or perception, I should say, rather, is that we are a country that's going to care about people. At least that's what is portrayed, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas at the end of the day, other countries, they don't always perhaps look at their citizens, particularly countries that are more dictatorial, more tyrannical in their leadership, where they have a government that pretty much seizes and controls all output, all media. So there's a difference in terms of how they look at the humanitarian aspect of their citizenry versus the United States. And so, but President Trump says, I wouldn't have done it. But then at the same time, he says, look, I would have still gotten Brittney home nevertheless, right? Like we saw he did with the I think the ball guy, the basketball, LaMelo's brother.
Right. So my question is, if you're in negotiating, is the administrating suggesting that they said Brittney for the Merchant of Death or nothing? Because
that's what's reported, right?
I can't believe that. I can't believe that, because that doesn't make good sense, because for Russia's standpoint, right, what do they care about the high profile person that they exchange? They just want what they want, right? It wouldn't matter if they said a bag of beans for the Merchant of Death. Like, that doesn't make sense from Russia's standpoint.
To answer that question, though, real quick, from what's been reported is that they look, and this is what the Russian department said, that they look at Paul Whelan's case differently. His espionage, they feel, is much more weightier. His charges are more hefty. And so, therefore, that was the reason why he was not on the table as far as the negotiations, because they classified the espionage charge different than what Brittney had in terms of the medical marijuana.
So then we didn't do a great job of negotiating. And I'm with you on that. That if it was our particular families, my family, your family, we wouldn't care who. Listen, sun, moon, and stars, exchange that for my family. I get that. But if based on what you're saying the two did, right? It seems like those are equal offenses to said countries. Someone who is the merchant of death that planned, conspired to kill Americans, and someone else who they are saying is spying on their country. That seems like a equal trade, right? A fair exchange is not robbery, right? But a basketball player who's only been there 10 months, I know it's harsh, harsh environment to be in. There's a report that she cut her locks because they kept freezing, and it was just, tough to deal with in those cold climates. But it doesn't seem equal. And if you're negotiating, I mean, you in any negotiation, we're talking about anything regular, purchasing a car, right?
Right.
You never take the first price. It doesn't matter what the sticker says.
Correct.
It doesn't matter how much the dealer tells you that this is a great deal and, we already saved you $2,000 off the MSRP. I don't care about that. I want to go deeper. I want to go. So America didn't leverage, I think, I don't think they fully leveraged that negotiation to get an outcome that was from most Americans, or even a portion of Americans thought that it was equal. It seems like we did bring Brittney Griner home, which is very important to her family, to the WNBA, NBA community, to humanity as a whole. But when all things being equal, we got ripped off. I mean, that's just, if you say somebody is a mass murderer and we're going to exchange it for a person that jaywalked, that's not equal. And what she did, in all intents and purposes, was jaywalking in the grand scheme of things compared to him.
Absolutely.
So if he's conspiring to kill people and do it, that's a big offense. You don't let that person go for someone that, listen, had a vape pen. That just doesn't make sense. So we lost. She won, her family won. That is important, but in negotiating, we lost. So that's just my opinion on that. I mean, I'm glad she's home.
Probably, do you think that the Biden administration should have? And I don't know if this even makes sense or not. But in order to get Whelan home, do you think that they give up? Should they give up the merchant of death, along with maybe another? We've got over 300 Russian criminals here in the United States. Some on other type of what was considered kind of white collar crimes, and so to speak. And I don't know it to be true. I think there's another prison that we have that Russia does have on their radar. But would you have then given up another one to get Paul? So you get two.
Package it. I think the merchant of death. I think the merchant of death could have been packaged. 2 weed heads for one killer. I don't know, but it could have been packaged. Those two offenses, both of those Americans, even if he had more, medicinal or medical marijuana than she did, both of them together, their offenses don't equal to probably a fraction of what he did.
Not at all.
So I think
that's the political game that they play, right?
Yeah, so it's a political game, but everybody wants a feel-good story. It's all done before Christmas. Everybody can be by the Christmas tree. Everybody's wearing plaid pajamas. But that family, the other family, is still worried about their loved one over there. So I just think America, better to take an extra day or so, better to take an extra few weeks. And easy for me to say, I wasn't in a Russian prison, right? I had no locks to cut. So it's easier for me to say. But it's better to take the extra time and negotiate something that's in the best interest of the United States best interest of all parties involved in making a rush decision to make sure that, you know, we have something that is now a feel-good story just in time for the holidays, just in time for the ensuing political cycle, because now, you know, both parties, Democrat and Republican, now have to put their best foot forward, because now we're starting to get, this is 2023, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Basically 2023. So now everyone has to get their arsenal together for, you know, points that, hey, we did this, and hey, we did that, we did this. Look what we did for the community. Look what we did for this. So it's all a political game in the grand scheme. I just think that they could have negotiated that better. But, you know, it is what it is, man. We'll see how everything progresses. I know that there is still a cry out to try to get those other soldiers, the soldier and the teacher, back. And we pray that, you know, this administration is able to get that resolved and get them home safe to their families as well.
I will say this last point though, to this D, and by the way, the families of Mark Fogel, they actually, you know, applauded the fact that Brittney Griner's home. So they were, you know, they were very, very elated about that. And of course, Paul Whelan's family also, you know, supported the trade, if you will, right? And so, you know, and I feel a little, I know I have to be careful when I say this, but I know the family obviously can't. They could maybe, but maybe they can't really express all of how they feel, right? Because
of course
you're
not.
Still trying to, you know, you got an administration still negotiating on your behalf, right? So you don't want to talk bad about them, right? Because they're your way out, if you will, right? Yeah. Not that I don't think the government would be that malicious, because we are a free country, right? So if you can still diss the government, and they still got to go and do what they're supposed to do for you, right? But the other thing is that. Here's where I feel the blemish is a little bit on the United States on this case, that celebrity is a big deal in this country. And let's just be honest, if Brittney didn't have the celebrity, and as you already stated in your opening piece on this, she's not home today, because most people didn't even hear of Paul Whelan or Mark Fogel or any of these people until. And so you can look at it from both sides. Now these guys get more attention to their situation now, after the fact of what Brittney did. So, you know, it's a cause and effect that could work for the betterment of both sides at some point.
Yeah, once again, we hope everything works out for them, and I'm sure we'll be doing some follow-up stories as things progress in their exchange of prisoners. But in any case, Rod, listen. Fabulous show, man. Thanks for joining. This was awesome. Shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music. Shout outs to Kingdom Creative for the production. How would we do this if we didn't have Kingdom Creative?
Kingdom Creative. Shout out.
It's amazing. We wouldn't be able to do this.
No, we're probably using like the little old school phone.
A cup, and I'd have one red cup and the string. They wouldn't see it, and then the string would come around to you. But in any case, man, fabulous show. We got some good games coming up towards the end of this week. Saturday games, so it's going to be like Friday. I think Thursday. We may not have Thursday games anymore, but I think it's Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday. It's going to be. This is the good part of the season.
Good part of the season.
Once again, please like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. Please go to our YouTube page, Brooklyn Beards and Ball. Yes, we appreciate all of the comments. The likes, the dislikes, if you agree with our takes, you disagree with our takes, we like it. We like it. We love it. We want some more of it. Until next time, thank you, Rod, for joining. This was an awesome show. Peace.